Hello everyone. All right, late last night I put fiberglass, put gel coat on the mold. I have one over there. Then I put on the fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin. The question was, is this going to stick? So from my past videos, you know that normally I do the mold separation using stop action for the simple reason that it took hours to get the two parts apart. I'm actually doing this as a live video in the hopes that, well, while it won't take the 31 seconds that the stop motion did, I'm hoping it won't take several hours. So this is actually the moment of test. I do have all the hammers and wedges and all of that stuff, but I did a quick test last night trying to separate these parts, and the edges came apart relatively easily. Right, so one of the fears was that it might do what's called pre-release, and that's when the shrink rate of the parts actually causes the part to pull away from the mold. It's caused from too much wax being on the mold and there's not enough surface tension. But apparently that wasn't a problem because it definitely didn't pre-release. Now, one of the advantages of I only put 2 layers of fiberglass mat on this. One of the advantages is the part is a little bit flexible, so I'm able to get parts of it loose. If it weren't for that, either it would all come loose or none of it would come loose. So as you can see, I can get my hand under. Oh, I was going to get a pair of gloves. Hey, this is already way more promising than it's ever been in the past. And it's places like this and this bumper that are usually the challenge because the surfaces aren't flat. Now you can see that this white on my hand is the gel coat that didn't cure. The reason it didn't cure is that gel coat cures through lack of air or lack of oxygen. And I went ahead and put the gel coat past the area, so any place that it's past that it didn't get covered with resin, well, it didn't cure, but that doesn't matter. Wow, that was promising. All right, I have some air-filled bladders that you use for leveling doors, but unfortunately I left them at my house in Dallas. So, but they would be perfect for this. I would just put them under there and inflate them, and that would do this separation instead of using my hands. But there we go. How's that? Came off relatively easily. The surface looks damn good. There's a little bit of rough spot through here, so it may have actually done, that's the symptom of the pre-release, is that instead of having the absolutely smooth surface like over here, there's a little bit of a, maybe an orange peel type surface. But I am unbelievably pleased with this. Anyway, so this is the part, one of the fenders. The other one, old mold, is sitting over there. So my next step is to do that. Now, others had suggested coming in before this fiberglass got hard and trimming all of the edges. I didn't do that because I'm putting this on that C8 Corvette, if you can see it over there. I'm not even sure if I'm in the camera right now, so I'll move over here. There we go. I'm gonna put it on that C8. This mold was not made for that. It was actually made to put these parts on a C6, so as an older Corvette. So I'm probably gonna have to modify them. I'm probably gonna have to widen them. I know I'm going to have to lengthen them. I found that out by taking this mold and setting it up against the car and kind of got a rough idea. But what I'm gonna do now is, heck, we'll just go do that. If I can do all this at once. All right, so I'm gonna take this part right here. This part is flexible because I only put 2 layers on. That was what was recommended, and then let those cure before I stiffen it with more layers, and actually let it cure for about 2 days. All right, so if I can make my way a path through here, and we're just going to get an eyeball of whether this is going to work. And you're learning this at the same time I am, so hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm going to guess the camera would go here, and there's the C8 Corvette, and here is what this fender is going to look like on that Corvette. Now I'm going to have to figure out where this goes, but there's where something like that. So you can see that that's not a bad fit. It'll obviously have to be moved in, but not a whole lot. My plan is that the next generation of C8, the Z06 and the other high performance ones, they have wider tires on the back. So look, there's not room for wider tires on this. What they do is they put a widen kit, a widen kit on that moves these fenders out. So I'm going to do the same thing with this. So this actually needs to be 1 inch, maybe even 2 inches further out than this fender right here. So if you can see this, there is actually a lip right there that's about that same 2 inches or so. And the same way on that front edge here. So before I try to get this any closer, I'm actually going to put a piece of cloth on top of the car. Let me go grab that. Back in a second. And this will keep me from damaging. There we go. Let me check the view of the camera. I could be way off. Oh, looks good. All right, now I can try to fit this a little better. All right, what you can't see and what I saw from the mold is this top curve right here is very close to this curve right here. So it's something that I never noticed. I never noticed that this car had any resemblance to an older Corvette. But that curve is right there. It's just, they put so many other sharp edges and stuff that it really hid the history of Corvette that is built into this body, but completely hidden by all the extra extraneous junk. But if you look, this does almost fit right on top of that. Okay, again, this will have to be moved in a little bit. One of the things is this step right here is for the door handle on a C6. The way you open the door on a C6 is it's right behind here. That's where this pocket is, and you reach behind the door and there's a handle right there. This one, the door opening's underneath this vent. So I will have to cut this off right here. I knew that ahead of time, but I figured I'd just make this part as is and then modify it later. So if I just cut that off, you can see that that's going to be awfully close. Now, here's what I was afraid of, is the wheel opening isn't exactly the wrong place, and it's far too large here than it should be. So I'm going to have to do some cutting and splicing to make this work, but again, I've had to do that with virtually every car. If I center it on the wheel, that would work, but it puts the back end awfully far back here, so I'm going to have to make some kind of compromise. What I'll probably do is make another piece of this section right here, the wheel opening, completely cut this wheel opening out and then move that section here and splice it in. I don't know. It's going to take some body work. But as you can see, it's a lot closer than I thought. And so you can also see that the door opening is almost 1.5 feet too far forward. So now what I need to do is make a door. I've got the molds for it over there. So I'll make a door, attach it to here, and then I will trim that piece where the door jamb is on this. So a lot of work to do, but again, man, this is a great first pass. This is the first time I have ever, actually the second time, I've ever made a body part out of a mold. And it is the first time I've ever used gel coat. So, well, those that hate my Art Deco conversion to this, maybe they'll like this one because it does at least look like an old Corvette, or it will, sort of. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I got a lot more work to do. I will see you next time.